Hello, everyone, and welcome to my presentation on culturally relevant strategies for literacy and biliteracy development. Today, I'm going to be sharing two bilingual instructional approaches that help students strengthen literacy skills while affirming their cultural and linguistic identities. The two texts that I'm going to be focusing on are Abuela by Arthur Duros and Mango, Abuela, and Me by Meg Medina. They're both powerful examples of stories that connect family, languages, and culture in meaningful ways. So, the cultural relevant pedagogy is based on the idea that students' backgrounds are valuable learning assets and not obstacles. It's building on what students already know, their language, family, and traditions, and connects home literacy practices to what we're doing in the classroom. In the bilingual setting, this means encouraging translanguaging or that natural flow between English and Spanish to support comprehension and expression. By integrating both languages, teachers are helping students strengthen their vocabulary, fluency, and confidence as readers and writers. So, the first strategy is called Bilingual Book Talk Circles, and it's using the Abuelos by Arthur Duros, the book Abuelos by this activity is focusing on reading comprehension and oral fluency through bilingual discussions. Students are going to work in small groups to explore the themes of imagination, family, and language as they share their personal connections to the stories. It's an engaging way to help the learners see themselves reflected in literature while strengthening academic language in both English and Spanish. So, Abuela is written by Arthur Duros. It tells the story of a young girl and her grandmother as they imagine flying over New York. The book naturally blends English and Spanish into the English and Spanish, showing how bilingualism is a part of everyday life. It's a beautiful representation of Latin families and creates a space for discussion about love and belonging and heritage. Through the text, the students explore how language connects generations and tells them their own stories. So, so to implement the bilingual literature searches with Abuela, I'm going to start by introducing the book, and we're going to preview um, key bilingual vocabulary, which is located in the back of this book. There is a page that has um, the key bilingual vocabulary words, a glossary. And then I'm going to divide these students into small mixed proficiency groups to encourage peer learning. Each student is going to receive some sort of discussion role. For example, the summarizer, resumidor, who retells the story, the connector cultural, who relates the personal experiences, the word wizard, the explorer de palabras, who identifies new words, the questionnaire, the preguntador, who asks critical questions. And these roles help students structure meaningful and bilingual dialogues. Next, students are going to read the text and annotate keywords in both languages. They're going to meet in their circles and discuss the story using both English and Spanish. And this is a great opportunity to practice that translanguaging authentically. After discussion, the students are going to write a short bilingual reflection that is going to connect the book's themes to their own families or cultural backgrounds. And finally, the class is going to the groups are going to share their insights with the class. That's going to allow everyone to learn from each other's cultural perspectives. So, this strategy builds reading comprehension through discussion, it strengthens oral fluency, expands bilingual vocabulary. It develops that meta-linguistic awareness, the ability to think about how languages work together. And most importantly, it encourages bilingual pride and identity. Students realize that they don't need to separate their language to be successful readers, Both are valuable tools for understanding and self expression. So, my second strategy is cultural relevant writing workshops called My Story, My Culture, and we are going to use the book Mango, Abuela, and Me by Meg Medina. This approach emphasizes writing fluency and identity expressions through bilingual storytelling. Students use the book to write their own personal narrative, as their own personal narratives in both English and Spanish, highlighting their family's experiences and cultural traditions. So, in Mango, Abuela, and Me, a young girl named Mia is learning to communicate with her grandmother who has just moved in from her home country. At first, the language differences create challenges, but as they learn words from each other with the help of a talking bird parrot named Mango, they form a stronger bond. This story beautifully captures how love, patience, and bilingualism bridge generations, and it is a perfect mentor text to teach empathy, communication, and the power of language. So, to begin this workshop, I'm going to read Mango, Abuela, and Me out loud and guide a discussion about how the characters use both languages to connect. Students are then going to brainstorm their personal experiences that relate to family communication, cultural traditions, or special celebrations. Next, they're going to write their first draft in whichever language that they're the most comfortable in English or Spanish. This freedom is going to help students focus on ideas and their voice and the emotional expressions before worrying about translation. Once these drafts are complete, the students are going to exchange their writings with peers for bilingual feedback. Then they translate and revise their work, ensuring that both languages sound authentic and that the cultural details are preserved. After the revisions, the students are going to publish their final pieces in a bilingual class compilation. And to celebrate their hard work, we're going to host a bilingual author celebration where students share their stories aloud with classmates or family members. And this celebration reinforces pride in their bilingualism and cultural heritage. So, this bilingual workshop supports writing fluency, translation skills, translation skills while building that cross linguistic awareness. It also promotes self expression and voice. Students learn to tell the stories that matter to them. And most importantly, it validates their home language and cultural background, showing that their personal experiences are worthy of academic and creative recognition. So, both of these strategies, bilingual literature circles and writing workshops, promote the comprehension, fluency, and motivation through authentic learning experiences. They connect reading and writing in ways that feel meaningful to students, encouraging them to see language as a bridge rather than a barrier. By using translanguaging as a literature tool, we help students build confidence in their ability to communicate across languages and develop strong biliterate skills. And finally, cultural relevant instruction honors the students' families, languages, and traditions. By using the books that reflect real bilingual experiences, we bridge school and home, helping the students see that their voices belong in both worlds. When students share stories, they cultivate empathy, respect, and appreciation for linguistic and cultural diversity, values that enrich the entire classroom community. In this way, literacy becomes not only a skill, but a celebration of identity and belonging.